Good evening and welcome to the journey with Barts and Rosey. Got a lot of things to cover in the next 30 minutes. First, before very sad news, Kevin Romano-Hune, a good friend of the Gooch and mine for years, just an incredible human being, done a ton in the hockey community. Very saddened to announce the death of his son, Kurt. He died in a car accident a couple of days ago, and the entire Gooch Live Productions, the Rosen Report, the Roundtable, the Journey, on behalf of Brad Barkle, on behalf of Jordan LaRoche, on everybody, we give all the thoughts and prayers with Kevin and his family. God bless you all. So sorry. I cannot imagine losing a child. On that note, let's bring up my partner, Barks.
Rosie, it's gonna be a tough one tonight, but we'll get through it.
Yeah, Kevin. I don't know if you knew Kevin. He just well, Kevin's still around. He's an incredible man, and thoughts and prayers out to the family losing a child. Hey, listen, we have some announcement really quick to make. I am leaving the show. Nothing to do with you, Barty. I love you, brother. It's just everybody knows that the Rosen Report is going on hiatus. I'm not doing the roundtable anymore. I am leaving. More than likely, this is up to Brad, but more than likely, the show will continue as a journey with Brad Barkle. But they'll let you know. I just want to, before we get into your guest, who's incredible, I want to say this is show 19. It's been an absolute honor and privilege to do the show with you, brother, to have everybody behind the scenes. I still say Jordan LaRoche, best producer in the business. I will miss all of you, but like everything happens in life, there's a reason for it, and it's time for me to go.
Yeah, Paul, I'm going to miss you, man. We're gonna miss you. I'm sure Jordan. You've done a lot of work with Jordan and Gooch, and recently the Fired Up Network as well. Man, I don't have. I'm kind of speechless tonight. It's almost like ripping the Band-Aid off fast. You let me know this week. We knew it was coming, but now that it's here, you kind of don't want it to end. This has been an incredible journey, no pun intended, an incredible ride. Being able to obviously share the stage and the platform with you. We've talked about this before. I've looked up to you, for many years as a mentor, and now as a friend and a brother. And this one's tough, but we're gonna get through it, and hopefully the journey will carry on. And we can do you proud. And I told you this week, your seat is always warm if and when you decide to return. And it's always going to be there, and it'll never be the same without Paul Rosen.
Well, I thank you, my brother. It's been a lot of fun. Let's make show 19 the best show yet. You have a fellow Edmontonian who loves the Oilers. We talked a little bit. What a story. I'm going to let you bring him up.
Yeah, Jordan, let's bring up my buddy Christian. I've only known him. It feels like forever, but just a short time. We met going to sporting events. He used to sit beside me during the Edmonton Elks, or formerly known as the Eskimos. So, Jordan, let's bring him up. He's got an incredible story. I am so excited. I've heard his story. We talked a bit at games and online, but I am so excited for our audience and for you, Rosie, to hear his story. So, Christian, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much for being here. I know we tried to line it up last week, but with Halloween and stuff, we didn't do a show anyway. But you are here. You're live. You're ready to go. Now, I will let you take it away. Paint the show. Paint the audience a picture into the mind, into the life of you. And let's talk about your journey. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, well, before I get started on me, it's an honor to be here. So thanks to both of you, that's for sure. I'm very sorry you're on your last show, Rosie, but hopefully we can make it a good one. And my condolences definitely to the family of your friend that lost their child, for sure. So for myself, of course, my name is Christian Zyp. It's an interesting tale that I didn't really expect to come. About 5.5 years ago, it'll be 6 this coming in February 2022. I just kind of had like flu-like symptoms over the course of a weekend. So I started just feeling like a little unsettled and a little tired. And on a Saturday night, I was kind of like, I didn't have the same energy level I usually do. And I had a really terrible kind of sleep. I get up the next day on a Sunday and I'm like, okay, I got to go to school. I got a bunch of stuff I'm doing because I'm a teacher here in Edmonton, drama teacher specifically. And it was 2 weeks away from what was going to be like the big point of our year, at least theatrically, in our big show. So I had lots of work to do. It was also Oscar Sunday, which is a big deal around the house because me and my wife really love film. I do stuff about film around town as well myself. So I'm always really engaged in it. And I go to school and I was just feeling awful. And just the whole day I was feeling sick. I couldn't keep anything down. I felt more off than I ever had before. But in my head, I just thought, I've got a bug or something and I'll be okay. So we fast forward. I watch the Oscars. I'm getting up every like 10 to 15 minutes, having to go to the washroom. There's nothing basically inside of me anymore. I'm just going there. My heart rate has increased. My breathing becomes incredibly shallow. As I go on through the evening, I'm starting to worry that I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not even going to be able to go to school tomorrow. So I kind of text, and that's even unusual for me. I would usually, especially at that time of year, never take a day off. But then it started to get to a point where I couldn't even rest because my heart was beating out of my chest. I could not catch my breath. I thought maybe I was hyperventilating, but that wasn't the case. And eventually I kind of made a choice in my head. I thought, this is something I've never felt in my life before. So I'm going to have to go to the emergency room. So, I mean, right there at that point, my wife was already a little bit concerned and that made her really concerned. So I was hoping it would just be a pretty quick fix. I get to the University of Alberta hospital room, and once they check me in, it's pretty quick, which is never good because I've been to emergency rooms before, and usually they take their time with you, and they kind of process you. Yeah, when you're in there quick, it's not good usually. Only in retrospect do I know that they really didn't know what was wrong with me, but they knew from my vitals that it wasn't good. Within, gosh, I really can't even remember the timeline sometimes because it went incredibly fast for me, and I was intubated. The last thing I remember is them telling me I was going to be intubated, and I thought, whoa, that's really intense. So I was kind of passed out, and they said, okay, well, you'll be up in a bit. We just have to take care of you. And essentially what happened is that's the last thing I remember. And my wife had said, the nurses talked to them and they said, he's not doing well. We're not sure what's wrong, but we're going to have to figure it out. I guess after I'd been intubated pretty quickly, that I started to turn purple. And I guess what was happening in my body, but nobody really knew it at that time because it took about 36 hours to figure out, I had contracted meningitis and my kidneys had shut down. Basically, I had kidney failure. My blood was going septic and I didn't really know it because it was trying to fight the infection in my system. So one of the things she said she remembered was like me going on a gurney past her off a long hallway, and I was like purple basically. So that was kind of the moment where she was really scared. Then as things got progressively worse, she had like called family, friends, right? But it's like 3 a.m, right? So this is classic, like late night, everybody sleeping kind of thing. One of the other moments that for her, she said really kind of hit home for us when they said, if you are religious, you should probably call a priest. And that's when she was like, oh my God, is he going to die like tonight? When, 24 hours before, I'm just feeling like I have flu-like symptoms. So eventually, as we kind of pick the story up, they find out I have meningitis. From that point on, I'm intermittently in and out of a medically induced coma, but not for very long. And I don't remember a ton of this stuff. Within that 6 weeks, they figure out the kidney failure. So I'm on dialysis. They put a tube in my chest to CV in order for me to be able to have my blood cleaned 3 times a week. At that point, it becomes 1 amputation below the knee because, of course, my blood went septic and my limbs were starting to, blacken. as my body was trying to preserve my chest and vital organs and my head. My skin started to kind of like rot, look like it was black. So there's scarring kind of all over my body. Then after the first leg was amputated, I believe it was the thumb, and then it was the second leg. And then because of all the scarring and my skin kind of deteriorating from the septic, nature of what happened with my blood, I had to get a bunch of skin grafts. So they also took all the skin from basically my shoulders down to like the belt line of my waist, from my back, and put it all over my body in order to heal. So at that point, we're at the 6-week mark. I'm starting to come in and out of consciousness, and I'm still in I.C.U. For about just over 2 months at this point. And I'm starting to realize what exactly happened to me. So in some ways, it was kind of like being highly medicated helped, maybe a bit of the trauma at that point, because I'm pretty out of it most days, right? I remember them testing me what day of the month it is, and I had no idea. I still thought it was like March, and they're like, no, it's April, whatever. So I spend 3 months at the U of A in recovery. What they tell me is they say, hopefully you're going to be in a place where once they evaluate you, you might be able to go to the Glen Rose Hospital and be able to recover fully there and maybe learn how to walk again, prosthetics. My kidney still failed, so I was on dialysis 3 times a week. So I was really hoping that everything would work out and I get to go to Glen Rose. I do. I spent 3 months there, where I go through a lot of occupational therapy as well as physical therapy, learning how to walk again, getting my hands to function again. There was significant damage, nerve damage in both of my arms, not just the one that had the thumb severed. My knuckles don't move as well, right? MCPs and PIPs. If you just took a photo of my hands, I'd look like I'm 97. So, this is doing a lot of good for me. I mean, and even on top of that, I had a giant scar on my front lip because, you're taking so many tubes inside your mouth for so long in order to help me breathe. They even had to take a chunk of my bottom lip and cut it. And then my plastic surgeon sewed it inside my top lip. So my lip is kind of like a quarter of it is my bottom lip, actually just sewn into there. If you look close, you can see the scars. So there's that. I've had a couple hand surgeries after I go that 3 months out of Glen Rose. Then it's about, 9 more months of just like being an outpatient at the Glen Rose and trying to physically recover and kind of get my life back on track. The goal was to get back to teaching. Within a year and change, I was back in the classroom, and I've had some, time where I was out of there, but only because of surgeries, like a kidney transplant. So now I have 3 kidneys, one of which works. So I'm very fortunate in that regard. A couple of hand surgeries on my left and my right hand to try to make any kind of improvements possible. Some rerouting of tendons, and just trying to fully recover as much as I possibly can for the rest of my life, because I feel like it's always a work in progress. And, still teaching, which is fantastic. And, trying to stay as healthy as possible.
Unbelievable. What a story. Rob Frid is a good friend of ours. He's been through a lot of things, close to dying himself a few times.
Yeah.
You're a fighter, Christian. Thanks for sharing your story. Glad you had acute medical care keeping you with us. Yeah, unbelievable. What a story. Listen, I have a very dear friend, Shane Smith, who is 33, I want to say now. When he was 2, he had meningitis, lost both of his legs, one of his arms, just like you, the scar. And I know that, and we asked this question, and everybody that's on our show is about ability through disability and people just overcoming, and that's what you have done. How important was and is family in your life?
Oh, it's huge, like there's so many different things that kind of go into that. There's family, of course, my immediate family, my wife, my sister and her children, my, aunts and uncles, my mom and dad, and all that stuff. Their husband and wife as well. So, having them around me at first, it was really comforting. I can't tell you, like, it's tough enough being in there and trying to wrap your head around what happens, but it's very fortunate when you have a great support system like that around you, not just for the time that when you're in the hospital, but beyond that, whenever I needed assistance with things or any other kind of help. I try to be as self-sufficient as possible. So even within that first year, I was probably saying no more than yes to their help, which probably drove them nuts, but that's okay. I also try to look at family as extending beyond that, right? Like there's the family of, the school that I'm at with the kids and the teachers and that
Yeah.
community, and even former students. It was pretty incredible, the amount of support and love that you get, even just from a distance. It was tough. It took me a long time to kind of get to a place where I could start to read even through the comments of what was happening kind of in real time. But of course, like 5 months previous. So, I mean, that was difficult just to digest because, you don't really consider kind of the mark that you leave on people's lives because you're just trying to live it. So seeing, that kind of level of support and positivity and love, and hope that a lot of people had for me and extended to me was incredible too. That helps a lot in healing as well.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I even look at recovery as being kind of like a family in some ways. The therapist that I have, my OT, I've had for the last 5 years plus, like, we're very close, and he's seen me from, month 3 to now. So, I mean, we've been together a long time with that and trying
Yeah.
to improve my hands. All the physical therapists that I've had, it's just like it extends beyond that. The nurses, that you make close relationships with when you stay in a place for 3 months,
yeah,
right? And a family that you kind of extend beyond to of people that are recovering there, and also people that you meet like yourself, Brad, and others that I feel like you have a bit of a connection with, and I've been lucky to meet a few people like that, and kind of feel part of that community as well. So it's
Yeah.
been huge, Paul. It's
yeah.
really what saves you, I think, a lot of times
I
when you
agree
think
with
you can't do something. Support's incredibly important.
For sure. I want to piggyback off of one comment you made because you're a teacher, drama teacher. How important was that for you? Did you find solace in teaching and coming back and be like, did that? You mentioned how important it was, your former students and students in recovery, but how important really was teaching to you that you're like, this is kind of what you fought for. I'm coming back to
Yeah.
teaching. I got to be better. I got to be obviously other aspects, but teaching did that drive you as well to I got to get back here because I gotta do my thing.
Oh, hugely. All right. So this is the point where I feel like you're trying to milk the tears out of me, which is not that hard to do from this guy. So I'm just like, it's full warning at this point now that like I may get broken, but it's okay. I'm never embarrassed by that stuff. I'm in the feelings business anyway, as being a drama teacher. Right. So I'm just like, I just know that about myself. If we talk about the kids, like it's huge. Like I had, like it's the job. Sometimes what people do sometimes is just something they do, but like what I do, I feel like it's not just a matter of teaching the material, right? It's about trying to, for a very short amount of time, create a place where people can explore, be creative, feel safe, be supported, make friends. Like that's kind of how I look at my job. Have fun. Maybe there's an escape to a lot of things that might be difficult in their own lives. So it's kind of, it's therapeutic, it's supportive, it's a lot of different things. At least I feel that's the way I try to approach it. So when I think about myself being like, I want to get back there. I mean, yeah, part of it is to reconnect with them because it was a massive part of my life. And part of it too was that I'm incredibly fortunate that I could go back there. I mean, if you give me a lot of other different jobs, anything that might be incredibly physically demanding,
Yeah,
if I'm one of the surgeons that's working on people and this happens to me, I'm like, that's it. Like, I can't do that anymore. So for me, I've I knew that I considered myself incredibly lucky because I saw people around me that had to really make a shift in what they were going to do with the rest of their lives because they were not able to do what they once had been committed to before. So for me, because it's a lot of, it's really cerebral, it's very mental, it's very, I mean, it's physically engaged. Of course, there's things I can't do anymore, but I can still, manage independently in a classroom and continue to do my job probably until the day I retire. So I look at that as being incredibly fortunate. It was huge for me. That was part of the victory, right? Was like, hey, that's a next step. I finally got out of you're sick every day and you're recovering every day to now it's like, okay, what's the next level of recovery? The next level of recovery is going back to my previous life. The next level is being able to function in that place. Now, for me, it was like you're overcome with emotion. You want to get back there, but you're just like, can I do this anymore? Like, am I the same person? I was, and I was like, are they going to see me the same way? Because I don't see myself the same way.
Right. Yeah. You know what? You're an incredible person. I see the emotion just in your face right now. So Brad, myself, and you share. We're in the disability community. We know what it's like every day to have ups and to have downs. So one question I want to ask you as a fellow amputee, I'm going on 23 years this June. It'll be 23 years. And there's still days, Christian, that I get out of bed and I'm a right leg above knee. That phantom pain drives me crazy. My toes and things I feel. Explain to the average person that's watching tonight that doesn't know what disability is in amputation. You're still going through that, I would take it?
Yeah. I mean, with the physical stuff, it's so strange because I think sometimes, and I don't know if I was like this, but I know other people are, that they kind of look at it as like, oh, so once you have the prosthetic, like you're good now, right?
Yeah.
And it's really not like that. Like it's taken me 5 years to, get to the point that I'm at now. And I don't even feel like I've evolved as much as I need to, so there's that part of it. There's the physicality of having to really consider every step you take, like to really be heightened awareness of it, to continue to work on strength of core or my legs, so that I can feel as strong as I need to be. And also it's just going to help me later on in life. So there's that point. There is the point of, even when I got my prosthetics in, let's say, the month of July, it wasn't until the following year in April where I felt like I had extended amounts of time where my left socket and my right socket were comfortable on a regular basis, where I wasn't worrying about the fit. I mean, yes, your stumps are maturing, but even when I look at that, I was just like, I went to what was called the Courage Gala at the for the Glenrose. It's kind of a fundraising thing. So I was there at this dinner and I just remember being like, I couldn't even have my leg on under the table. Like I had to take it off because I was in such pain. I was walking from the car to the space and I just kept thinking to myself, I'm like, my God, like I'm going to this gala. It's all about courage. And I'm just like cursing my left socket. And I'm like, this is brutal. Like I feel terrible, and it's moments like that I'm just kind of like, it reminds you that it's a constant process. I mean, right now, I got a brand new socket. This was my second generation one. And on my left one, it was still driving me nuts in a certain area. So they had to take a negative mold and redo it. So that's like the third version on my left leg and the second version on my right leg. So it never stops. You have to always be checking at it and things evolve. So I don't know that it's ever done. I think that's maybe one of the misconceptions for other people and probably would have been my own too. Yeah. So, but the other thing that I want to say too is that it's such an interesting thing because I feel like as much as they are not clearly naturally me, they're such an extension of me. And I feel like the times where I've had operations and they have to take them away and they're like, well, we'll put them over here in this closet. Like, it's a weird thing that I feel a little bit like there is a piece of me missing. And you feel like, man, if you have nightmares sometimes, but if you lose them, you're like, I'm so screwed. Right. And it's not a fear that overwhelms me, but I notice sometimes that I'm like, man, I have a real, as much as they're just carbon, plastic, graphite, all this stuff. Like, they're really an extension of me. And I think that's what people maybe don't realize too, is that you rely on them so heavily and you're so in tune with them that even though it's not naturally a part of your body, you feel like sometimes it is. It's a weird relationship I have with them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Brad.
Listen, I got one more for you, and again, thank you so much for your time and being here. I appreciate you more than you know. So thank you. Last one for you, if you can keep it brief, just so we can wrap up. What's one thing, if there's someone out there going through the similar things that you went through, maybe in the very early stages, maybe they just lost a leg or both their legs due to meningitis or a hand or whatever the case may be, what would your message be to them? Maybe a message of hope or a message of courage. The floor is yours, man. Take it away.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't ever feel like, and I don't ever want to profess to feel like I ever have all the answers. I think that in some ways I'm very fortunate that maybe in some ways mentally I was prepared. I don't know why. Maybe just to like have that resilience. So I say for anybody that's honestly struggling and not sure what to do, I think the biggest thing is to just continually try to find that reason where you want to take the next step and to legitimately take it, hour by hour, day by day, whatever works for you, step by step. If you're into that process of just learning to walk again, and it's hard to find that trust in that things are going to work out okay, because sometimes they don't. I mean, you really have to find different ways to believe all the time. So I don't know that there's an easy answer, right? It's lean on people. Don't be afraid to talk. Um, Stay in tune with your body too, about where you're at, because if you don't, and you ignore it, it's just going to make things harder. So try to find things that inspire you. I'm very, motivated to do a lot of things that inspire me. The kids, the movie stuff, trying to get healthy again too. Just picked up wheelchair rugby in here in Edmonton. They've been a great support group too. So finding those outlets are really good, where you can find connections with other people and talking to people like you guys, it's huge. And listening to those stories is huge too. It makes you feel better. So I don't know. That's a lot of stuff, Brad. I just threw a lot in there. This is why people fall asleep in my classroom all the time, Brad.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't fall asleep. And hey, Shane Smith, the guy I was telling you about, he plays for the Canadian wheelchair. There you go with the legs. He plays for the Canadian wheelchair rugby team. So if you don't know him, I got to get you two connected. And I would love to get your info from Brad and stay in touch as a fellow amputee. There's a lot of things I'd love to talk to you about down the road off camera.
For sure, Paul. I really appreciate that, man. Of course, we'll do that for sure.
Okay, great.
All right, Christian, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it, and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Wow.
Wow.
What an incredible guy. Like I know the little bit of the meningitis situation with Shane, and Shane was 2 when it happened. Yeah, he's lived 90% of his life. But to have it the way, my God, Christian, what an incredible journey. And like he said, the journey continues. And I couldn't put together. I thank you for getting him a better last show. And it's been an emotional day for me. So I really appreciate it, brother.
Hey man, anytime. And again, the seat's not gonna be the same with you in it and with you out of it. And but we want you healthy. Obviously, a healthy Paul Rosen's the most important for you and for Ariana and for the family and everyone involved. And even for me, that I'm a phone call or a text away. Although I'm halfway across the country, I'm always here, and I can't thank you enough for one, giving me the opportunity to to be on this show, but really just for sharing your friendship with me and your space. And I'm a pretty emotional guy where I'm trying not to shed any tears on camera, but I just there are no words, Paul. There's really not. And I gotta I thank Gooch, and obviously we thank Jordan, but it starts and ends I think with you and I, and it's not going to be the same when I log on Sunday night and it's just Brad Barco. There's going to be a void there, and it's going to take some time. But when the time's right, hopefully when the time's right, you can always come back and you got a home. It's going to be right here.
I'll guarantee you one thing. At some point in the future, we will do another show. What it's called and what it will be about, I don't know, but we will do something together. Hey, listen, a little bit of a different scenario to the end of this one, because I have something very near and dear to my heart to close on. So let's do your last hero of the week on the last show, and then I'm going to do mine. And I need when I come up, I need Jordan just to isolate on me because it's an extremely important one. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, and I've done this one before. I got to double up. It's got to be you, man. Your courage and everything you've been through, everything you've shown me along the way and along the journey. Again, no pun intended, but along the journey, whether that was on the ice, off the ice, now. Again, phone calls we've had, texts, everything in between. The appreciation, the admiration, the love, the respect, every other word that I can drum up for you is incredible. And one day we're gonna have a Paul Rosen jersey behind me too, and that's gonna go up on the Wall of Fame as well. I don't know why it's not up there already, but we'll figure it out. But I just, again, I can't thank you enough for being a friend to me, for believing in me, for seeing something in me. Really, just a small town kid in Edmonton, and going throughout life and my challenges and ups and downs, and for you to lean on me and be like, I see something in you. Let's do something, and then to see how far it's come in 19 episodes. Unfortunately, it stops here between you and I. I've envisioned so much more, and maybe in the future. But again, just thank you for being you. Thank you for who you are, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Listen, my hero of the week. This is something that really means thanks for the ISO on this one. I want everybody that's watching. I know that Brady Leibold's watching, Rob Fred, Robert Wine, Kerry Goulet, anybody else that's watching this in the world. This is an extremely important story, and it's tugging on my heart, and I know it's doing the same to my beautiful girlfriend. On Friday night, there was a concert in Houston. It was called Astro World Festival. There's a guy, Travis Scott. He was the performer. This was an absolute travesty, a joke. 8 people died. I don't know if you know about this. 8 people died. There was thousands and thousands of people that were crushed. Hundreds of people injured. There'll probably be more that will pass away, unfortunately. But this guy is an absolute joke. He was on stage. He was inciting a riot. I don't care if something comes back to me. This has got to end. This guy is an absolute farce. And my hero is Sienna Faith. If you go to her just like that, Sienna, SEANNA FAITH, go to her Instagram page, and you will see a story of her being an absolute hero, watching people get crushed underneath her. This is 2021. This animal instinct is ridiculous. Like, I may be done on the air for a while, but I will never stop being there for people that are incredible and people that just do not give a damn about human beings. And this is ridiculous. Just shows you that money at the top of the spectrum can do whatever they want. And I'm sick of it. So Sienna Faith, you are my unsung hero of the week for trying your hardest to save people. And I have no idea how your life is going to turn out now with the things that you have seen. But as far as I'm concerned, you are my hero. Thank you very much. I don't know if you know this story, Brad, but if you don't, you have to, go to her Instagram and listen to her recount this entire evening. Watch what happened. It's just, it's beyond words. The last couple hours has just been extremely difficult watching all these videos, and this guy. I honestly hope that the investigation finds him in a big way a part of this as a homicide. He incited this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I've seen it. I didn't, kind of seen it in passing. I've seen a friend post about it. Didn't really do some digging, but I will definitely do that now. Now that I know what happened, and just a terrible accident, truly, and really, uncalled for. It doesn't need to happen. And like you said, we're here in 2021 with all the insanity going on in the world, and then this goes to happen. People try and find solace in music and that escape and that getaway, and you go to a concert and maybe you're the one that died or the one that got injured or the thousands that got hurt, and it truly does not need to happen. And listening to you say that and do all that, it makes me sick to my stomach. And I just hope something and someone is held accountable for what happened.
Well, the one person that should be held accountable is Travis Scott. And if you watch the videos, you'll see that him performing on stage, just looking at what's happened and just basically not giving a damn. Anyways, watch for yourself. You make your own opinion. Go to Sienna Face Instagram, and you'll hear and see the videos firsthand. Anyways, let's end it. Brad, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this with me. You're going to be incredible. I will still be watching you. I want to thank Kerry Goulet and the Gooch Network. I want to thank Jordan LaRoche, the best, the absolute best. He may be new to this, in maybe less than a year, but this guy is going to be a name that you're going to be reckoned with. He is unbelievable. To the Fire Up Network, who is still doing a ton of things. The new studio at the Bottom Line, where Gooch Live Productions is continuing. You want to get down to the Bottom Line, Wayne Cowley. What an incredible place. And on behalf of myself, Paul Rosen, the journey has been an incredible journey. Keep the faith, take care of each other, take care of yourself, and always know that if you really search hard, the journey is an incredible ride. Thanks a lot. God bless. Good night.